Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, which is a new day for us. This is episode 1 of Retro Gaming Revival presents the Total Evercade Podcast. This is very exciting. This is something Ryan's been getting ready for a little while, and tonight we get to do this for the first time. And we have an incredible guest that's going to join us as well. So let's do a quick round the table, see who we have here. So we have joining us Mr. Blunners.
Hello, right?
We have Mr. Ryan himself.
Hello. I do like the fact that Blunners was holding an Evercade there, like always a company man.
Sorry,
Exactly.
I was playing it.
All about the endorsements, got to be done. And then our guest for our very first episode is the Evercade guru, Mr. Sir Top and Hat. Welcome to Retro Game Revival.
Thanks very much for having me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. So for people that are maybe tuning in for the first time to do with anything Evercade, this is going to be our new fortnightly podcast to do with everything Evercade. We're going to be trying our best to strictly limit it to about an hour's worth. We're going to have 4 topics that we go through. So if your maths is like mine, roughly 15 minutes a topic. And we will see where this all goes. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We can see we've got some people in the chat there already. But yeah, let's kick it off straight away with our first topic, which is what have you been playing lately and the latest Evercade news. So if we go to Mr. Blunners, just because he's next to me there on the screen, what have you been playing lately Evercade related?
Right, so I had to ask Ryan earlier how to pronounce the game. Is it Anuga, the Goblin King? And also I've been playing Tapeworm as well. Anuga reminds me kind of like a Zelda-y, like Zelda 1 type of vibes.
Okay.
Coming out. Look, I've been playing it for about a couple of hours now, but just like how you're like traversing, trying to find like extra weapons. I've just got a crossbow on it, so yeah, really enjoying it at the minute. That one.
Excellent. And you've recently sort of picked up your Evercade in the last sort of month or so, isn't it?
Yeah, only in like the last month. Let's say, well, just maybe January time. Picked up really cheap, £35 on eBay. So. And then just in time for Indie Heroes 2. So
exactly.
Happy days.
Excellent. You can't say better than that. And Mr. Ryan, what have you been playing Evercade related lately?
Well, I finally completed Elwa's Awakening, which is possibly, well, in my opinion, it's the best game on Evercade. Absolutely fantastic. I would recommend getting an Evercade just to play that game because it is that good. So I finished that recently. I did start Cathedral, and I know a lot of people enjoy that game, but I was told it's very difficult. So I am struggling with it a little bit, but I was playing it with a slight hangover, so I need to dedicate a bit more time to it because I think it's one of those games where you need to remember where you've been and pick up keys. And so yeah, it looks very nice. It's difficult without save states because I'm so used to them on Evercade now, playing a game with a save state. On Elwa's Awakening, save state was my best friend at times, especially some of those tricky bits where you're trying to dodge various like blades or sort of like spinny things that kill you. So yeah, that's really what I've been playing over the last couple of weeks.
Excellent. Yes, you said nothing but great things about Elwa's Awakening. So yeah, it's something I still need to dedicate a little bit of time to. Yeah, we'll get to what I'm playing in a minute, and it's something slightly older, which is typical. As all these new cartridges, and I'm still going over some of the older ones. And then our guest of honor, Mr. Sir Top and Hat, what have you been playing lately, Evercade related?
Well, a lot of the Commodore 64 collection, Subterranean, yeah, in particular. That's just a little fantastic shooter there that you can pick up and play. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of time into that one. There's 16 levels in it, if people want to know. So yeah, definitely give that one a go. Topang collection, I was playing a lot of Tiger Heli today. So yeah, really enjoying that one. It's pretty tricky in the later stages, but yeah, it's still definitely worth a go. And also on top of that, obviously a lot of Indie Heroes 2. So yeah, dedicating a lot of time to that. Beer Slinger in particular, that's fantastic fun. So, yeah.
It's very good. It's very, very good. Always makes me want a beer when I'm playing that game, strangely enough.
Ale.
Yeah, I think if you miss a customer, you should have to drink a shot or something. And yeah, it could be a great friends game.
Definitely.
Amazing. I mean, there's all these fantastic new cars, and yet what I've been playing over the last sort of couple of weeks is one of the main reasons I bought a VS, which was Gate of Doom and Wizard of Fire. And I've just recently gone back over both of those again because I love those games a lot. So that's literally been my Evercade over the last sort of week or two, actually. You know, I can see it there. I Was Awakening. It's just there. It's just there. It's asking me to play it. And then I just went back and played, Gate of Doom and Wizard of Fire, which was typical, absolutely typical. But I love those games. They're just old, like cheesy arcade goodness. It's like a really sort of 80s Dungeons and Dragons type game where it's sort of top down. And for anyone that hasn't played it, it's on the Data East Arcade Collection 1. Yeah, fantastic. And that was one of the main reasons I bought a VS. Just couldn't get enough when they announced that was coming.
I completed that game with my other half, and she actually quite enjoyed it. It is a bit of a coin muncher, but it was quite fun playing it and just playing an arcade game through with her. Nice to get her off of Hogwarts Awakening for 5 minutes to play that. But no, it is a good game.
It's really good. And latest Evercade news. So I would say possibly the latest news has probably been the announcement that the new run of the new print, of the limited edition EXPs. They've announced now that they've adjusted the cartridge slot. Am I correct in thinking this? They have announced that?
Yeah, they have indeed.
Which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic news for everyone that's kind of been holding on, waiting out for that, the reprint to come through. That's great because again, we've said this time and time again. The one thing that Blaze and Evercade are very good at doing is sort of hearing the fans and kind of going back and readjusting things as they do. So for me, that was definitely some of the biggest news. And people have only got a month. Is it about a month to wait now? 30th or end of March, when hopefully they're going to sort of be in the hands of people.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Excellent. So yes, we've got Mr. Andrew Joseph in the chat there. Yes, it's and it's it's been a bit hit and miss in terms of which EXPs sort of had the tight slots anyway. So it's not necessarily it's like everybody's Evercade has had that, but still nonetheless it's great that they've sort of heard the initial thoughts and gone back and adjusted it. So yeah, has anyone here got a black EXP on order?
Yeah, only obviously myself, I think.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
So we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, whether the slot is good or not. So yeah, that's quite exciting, really.
It is excellent. Have you got an EXP at all at the moment?
Yeah, I have indeed.
You got your white one.
Yeah.
Excellent. So one of our topics, it is actually the next topic. So that is a fantastic segue.
Should we see if Derek's got any? Because Derek's got his ear to the ground at Evercade, and he might have some news that we don't know about, or he might have murmurings of something that might be coming, or he's spoken to some developer, or so. Yeah, I'm not putting you on the spot here, Derek, but I am a little bit. So if there's anything that you're able to share with us.
What about coming cartridges?
Yeah, or anyone you've maybe been speaking to about coming to Evercade.
I mean, this year they say there's at least 2 home computer collections coming. I believe they will be ZX Spectrum and the MSX. So
okay,
it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, how far off the ball I am with that one, but yeah, I'm pretty sound, I think. So yeah, that's quite exciting. I think there'll be more than one dual cartridge as well. I think we might see 2.
Okay,
look at that.
What do you think will be the third collection cartridge? Because they've announced that, haven't they? There's definitely going to be a third collection.
I mean, they've announced there's going to be a third collection. I would, if I were a betting man, I would say either Mega Cat Studios or an Atari Lynx one. Okay. But I'm not thinking older games. I'm thinking newer games.
Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting. This is almost like you did Daub's in there with Atari 3. It's almost like you do have your ear to the ground on this. It's as soon as you said about the Spectrum cart, Andrew jumped in the chat there and put might be, like the tease that he tends to sort of throw in there every now and then. So again, these microcomputers are not things that I ever really grew up with. So
Makes sense, doesn't it?
it does. So I'd be
Yeah, there's a
really
large
excited to try
following for
something.
things like the ZX Spectrum and things like that. So yeah, I think that would definitely attract a lot of people, especially if the games run like they do on the Commodore 64 collection. If they run as well as that, there shouldn't be a problem, really.
Yeah. How exciting. Right. So segueing us onto the first full proper topic of this evening, and that is, should you wait to buy an EXP? Now, I think the reason we've sort of brought this up will be because of there's a few little teething problems with some of the units out there, and with the announcement that they are going to be sort of tinkering with the new limited edition versions, that would lead me to think that they will possibly look to maybe tinker with the standard weight editions as well, and just make sure that everything's got the same mold with the same sort of cart size, the cartridge area, and just make sure that that's all good to go. So we're going to try going around the table, seeing what people think. So let's go the other direction now. Just throwing Blunners off totally there. Let's go to Mr. Derek. So what do you think? Should people wait to get an EXP, or should they sort of dive in now?
I think it's a good point. I mean, will they adjust the white ones? I think they will. I think they change the mold if they haven't done so already, and perhaps the newer batches are already going to be coming through with that slightly larger slot. The more people back it, the more we benefit. This year, if people do get on and they back those pre-orders and they back the EXP, instead of 14 cartridges, truthfully, I think we'll see 15 to 16 this year. So I think they'll add two more at least to the timeline. I think we're on for that. But the one I've got, I haven't experienced personally any problems myself, not yet anyway. So from my point of view, obviously, it's an ideal buy. But as you say, they might adjust that slot, and then 2 weeks later, you might wish you'd waited. So it's difficult, isn't it?
It is. Okay, Mr. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, I haven't purchased an EXP yet. I'm still perfectly happy with my OG or original Evercade. I've spent 10 hours playing Elwes Awakening on that. I had no issues at all. Very comfortable. I've never found the screen an issue anyway. So I know people. Those people who play it like that. You hold a. Well, I always do anyway. I've never understood people who play it, flat on their lap and have these issues. I'm still happy with my original Evercade at the moment. So that's mainly the reason why I haven't brought an EXP. Would I wait? Yes, I probably would. Just because, as Derek has mentioned, the mold's probably going to be changed on the white one, so the cartridge slot should be better fitting for the cartridges. I've seen issues with the battery life as well. I don't know if that's a firmware update can fix that, or whether that is an actual issue with the batteries themselves. Some people saying that they're only lasting 2 or 3 hours, and that's putting them in the Steam Deck category of battery. And Steam Deck's obviously a much more powerful system, so I can understand that with a Steam Deck. As it's really, is the screen a big factor for you in terms of Evercade? If you're okay with the original screen, then I don't see any reason to jump ship unless you're desperate to play games in Tate mode. And the Capcom games are also a really nice bonus. Being able to play Street Fighter on Evercade is that's a really big signing game wise for Evercade. So it's difficult. I'm kind of on the fence with it. It's how much do you value a screen, Tate mode, and those Capcom games? If not very much, then I would stick with the original and wait for those adjustments to be made.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Blunners, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel kind of similar actually. I think Ryan's covered it perfectly there, really. But as a new adopter too in Evercade, personally, I don't see anything really wrong with the screen. I actually quite enjoy it. I will eventually get an EXP, definitely. But like you said, I'm normally a first adopter of everything. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's out day one, most of the time I get it, and then I have to live with them. I remember having a PS2 day one, and then eventually the lens went on it and stuff like that. So I think it's quite a good idea just to sit back a minute, wait for these adjustments, and then just see what it's like then, and then jump in. But yeah, I think that's the best way at the minute.
Easy, yeah, not too bad. So I'm sort of in the mixture of everything. I think I was very much ready to look at getting an EXP in January. Could see some of the issues, and I thought I'll just hold off a little bit and see what happens over the next couple of weeks. For me, whilst I agree, the screen on the original Evercade has never been a real issue for me. That new screen is just very, very pretty. And it's like, as soon as you've seen it, you're like, yeah, I think I need that. So that screen is a big selling point for me. The Capcom collection is also a massive selling point for me. I know you can get the games elsewhere, and I know you can get them on other things, but there's just something about having it on a new, I'll say new, the Evercade isn't sort of massive new, but it's still new. Having it on like a new, British made console, and it's licensed, there's just something about that just feels nice. It feels cool. It feels like we're sort of supporting, a grassroots company again. And I was playing Super Street Fighter 2 last night with Tim on the Pi Packer for his new show, and I used the Evercade VS controller to plug in just to play it, and it played fantastically. So that just made me think, yeah, that's going to run very nicely on the EXP. So yeah, I'm in that mode where I think as soon as the next batch starts coming out, that will be when I will dive, because yeah, that screen and those Capcom games, man, that's the big seller for me. But I would probably say, if you don't own an Evercade yet and you want the handheld, I would just say just jump in with the EXP now. Don't go for the older model, or if it is specifically the handheld you're after, yeah, go for it. Dive in feet first with the EXP now, because I don't think you'll regret it at all.
No, Rob Taylor in the chat made a really good point, and none of us touched on it. It's got Wi-Fi enabled in the EXP, so it's really easy to update. And the original handheld is easy to update, but you still have to read a tutorial to be able to do it. And if you haven't got a computer, then you can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point. Really good point. Again, it's just one of those things that they've sort of listened to people after releasing the original one, and they've just kind of incorporated all those good bits that people have kind of wanted into this new handheld. So yeah, fingers crossed the new batch comes out, everything runs well, and it will just be plain sailing from then on out. Excellent. So is there anything else relating to buying an EXP that people would like to sort of highlight now before we move on to our next topic?
Well, Derek, having an EXP, do you think Tate mode is a mode that you've always wanted on a handheld, or is it a bit of a novelty to you?
I think it's nice that they've added it. Just like the Nintendo Switch, you can have the different mode if you want to. So yeah, I think I'm glad they've added it. I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, for people that are a big fan of like Flying Shark and games like that, yeah, you want to see it in its original form. But yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily an essential if you're not into those type of games. But we've seen 21 out of 377 games, something like that. I think there's more to come. It's like anything. You'll always see a few filtered through on old cartridges, but I don't know there was that many made, was there, overall, probably? Unless you can get hold of, certain games and things like that, which are quite tricky, the ones I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think they'll run out fairly quickly with that sort of thing. Obviously, we'd like to see things like clacks and things like that on there, because they take full advantage of it with the Atari Lynx. But unless they can secure ones like that, I think, yeah, give it 6-12 months. I think they'll pretty much run their course.
Okay, interesting. And that point, Mr. Ryan, has now sort of segued us very nicely. It's almost as if you know what the topics are, Ryan. segued us very nicely there into our next topic, and that is Tate mode a VS killer? So obviously I don't have an EXP as yet. I'm still very much playing games on my VS and my original handheld, although I do game more on my VS. But having that option to play games, like you said there, Derek, in that sort of original format, in that original form factor, could be the big difference for some people. So yeah, do people think that having that Tate mode could potentially, we'd like we put it here, is it a VS killer? Is it something that just will push people to that handheld? Let's go round the other way now. So, Mr. Blunners, what do you think?
I don't think it's a VS killer, but like they are specifically making games just for the EXP if they are better in Tate mode, in my opinion. But no, personally, I think VS does have its place at the minute. But like, do you feel they might bring out a newer version of a VS in the future?
Yeah, intriguing. And Mr. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, my only concern with these Tate mode games is, are they just picking games because they can be played in that mode, rather than games that have got playability and they're graphically good? Or that's my only concern, is that really, and playing a Tate mode on a telly not in its original format. I know the sizing's still fine on a modern TV, but it just doesn't feel right. You need it in horizontal mode, sorry, to be able to play them. And obviously you can't spin your TV around at home unless you've got a telly that enables you to do that. And then it should really have been, is Tate mode an OG Evercade killer? Because I tried to play Tower Plan Arcade on my original arcade, and 90% of the games are unplayable because the screen is absolutely tiny, and I just can't play. I'm terrible at those shoot 'em up games anyway, so I get shot immediately and I don't get very far. But they're even harder when you're playing it in a screen that's about 2 centimeters by 6 centimeters.
Yeah.
In terms of the question, though, I don't think it'll push people away from the VS. I just think that they might possibly skip some of the cartridges that focus mainly on those Tate games, because the VS was brought, because I was always under the impression the VS was brought out for multiplayer arcade games, and these Tate games aren't. I know you can do 2-player on some of them, but they're not really, it's turn-based, isn't it, rather than you both playing at the same time a lot of the time. So is it a VS killer? No, I don't think so. I think people will still buy the VS and they're focused on the arcade cartridges that they enjoy.
Yep, some good points there. And Derek, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a place for the verses. One thing I enjoy is to play things like Cathedral or Aura's Awakening on the telly. And then, as you say, the Tate mode games, much easier in the handheld. I find I concentrate a little bit more than I do on the television. So that makes it a little bit easier. There will be some 2-player simultaneous ones, especially on the next Toplan collection. I think Twin Cobras and Twin Hawk, you can play at the same time. So there are options for people. But yeah, I just think it's one of those things that as they pick on developers who perhaps did some of those games, and obviously Toplan was one of the main ones. You'll see games like that. But I mean, the Toplan Collection 2 has also got Warrener on it. And that is absolutely fantastic platform game that's not obviously a Tate mode game. But yeah, I mean, it's worth it for that cartridge alone. The game's fantastic. So, and Demon World's not too bad once you get used to the jumping and things like that, especially if you're a bit of a fan of Ghostbusters and that sort of thing. Then it's right up there. Zap a few ghosts and great.
Excellent. I think the big thing I liked in what you said there, Derek, was options. I like the fact that there are quite a few options now in terms of Evercade. And Ryan and Blunners and yourself have all sort of said it. The VS was kind of built for a bit of cooperative play, sort of maybe more the arcade type stuff, but you can still play the old stuff on it and still enjoy it. And then, yes, having this Tate mode as an option for people in this new handheld, it might mean, sort of like Ryan said, maybe there will be some cartridges that they kind of just take advantage of it and just be like, here's some weird, crazy, strange games, but we're going to put them on here because they're in Tate mode and kind of give them this sort of new lease of life. Does it mean they're all going to be amazing? That's always up for debate. But I guess I like that word. I like options. That idea that there is a company that's giving you these options. You can still play them on the Versus if you want to, or if you've got your EXP, put them in Tate mode, play them the way they were sort of meant to be. I think it was Drew Joseph in the chat popped there up there. Tate mode is there to look better in their native form. So it's just, being able to play it. Obviously, it's not on an arcade screen, but just being able to play it in the correct aspect ratio. There's plenty of people out there who get really funny about, having to watch things in the best quality, or, they listen to music in a very particular way because that's the best option and the best way to hear that thing. So, having an option to be able to play a game like that in its original format, I think is great. And again, is it going to kill a VS? I don't think so. I think I like Ryan's wording better. Like, is it an OG handheld killer? Yeah, probably. Especially if you like shooter games, then it definitely is going to be an original handheld killer for sure. I think people would skip over it completely.
Especially if you don't have a VS and you're going for a full set of Evercade games and you've still got the original handheld, a lot of those games are going to be really unplayable unless you buy the micro HDMI lead to telly, I guess, and you can play it that way. But I don't know many people who do that. They buy a handheld to play it as a handheld.
Yeah, completely agree. That ease of having a handheld is quite nice sometimes as well. Me and Ryan will get the train for work sometimes, so it's nice being able to have something on the go like that. And I have no doubt, as soon as I pick up my EXP, I'm probably never going to touch that original handheld again, which is a shame. But that's just going to be the way it is. You sort of trade it up and get the nicer screen, and okie dokie. So, shall we go to, because I know there's a few people that have started asking some questions in the chat. So before we dive on one of our next topics, should we take a quick run and see if we've got some questions we can go? So maybe pick 2 questions, see where we're at. So, yes. Yeah. That's probably worth pointing out there as well. It has been discontinued. It is eventually going to kill it anyway, whether we like it or not. It's sort of already killed it. We're just sort of letting those last ones sort of ebb out. Okay, so let's go with the first 2. So we've got one from fellow RGR member, Mr. Dorbs. That was, should Blaze do a recall on the EXP? There's a few issues, including the awful battery life. I don't know, because some of the issues that they said regarding things like the cartridge slots, I know that there was a way you could get in touch with Evercade or Blaze, and they could sort out, I think, either the newer cartridges or something. There was something that I remember seeing where they were basically not going to leave you high and dry. I'm sure Derek might know a bit more on that than I do.
Yeah, I mean, if people have got that original serial number, I haven't got it here at the moment, but I think it's something like 02660 or something like that on them. Mm-hmm. If you have got the tighter slot ones, if you go along and you tell support, if you email them, then obviously, they will give you some newer cartridges that should hopefully fit the slot. So, that's excellent. It's answered the problem pretty much, hasn't it? And and hopefully, those newer carts. I mean, I haven't seen anyone that's received them that's told me they've also had problems with those. So hopefully, they're back fitting. So that's excellent that they're going on and getting that sorted for people.
Yeah, absolutely is. No one's sort of shied away from it. They've accepted that there's a little bit of a problem, so we'll come up with the next best solution for you. And I'm sure we've said.
Well, like you said, it's
no, go on, Blunners.
Sorry, Ollie. I was like, it's like you said. It's a case by case basis. Like Nick's put there. Not everyone's having these issues. So why would you recall something like Nick's not having any issues with this at all? Are you? So they're not going to recall something when not everyone's having an issue.
No. And the battery life issue, from what I can understand, it can be patched through firmware, can't it? I don't think it's it just means you need a new EXP. I think it is something that can be patched, or is going to be patched as well. So yeah, everything is coming along the right way there. Let's go with Mr. Jarvis from It's Much More's question there. Do you think the price point of carts will increase to $19.99? So, yeah, the cartridges originally were $14.99, then they increased to $17.99, I believe. So, yeah, what do people think? Let's go do a little round table again. So we'll go with Mr. Blunners first because he unmuted his microphone in anticipation there. What do you think? Do you think the cartridges would increase to 19?
Yeah. I think they will. It's like everything in life, everything's going up. You can only get certain vegetables at the minute. So yeah, I think it will only just keep going up.
Yeah. With that, if it was to go up to $19.99, how would you feel about that? Would that sort of put you off certain cartridges, or?
No, it depends. It depends on what's on them. Like you're saying, if like you guys are all going on about the Last Awakening one, I'm thinking I'd quite happily pay $19.99 if I'm going on other people's recommendations. If the game quality's there, you don't mind. I wouldn't mind spending that money. Like you said, and you're supporting a company, and I wouldn't mind. And plus, you can look on eBay and you might get a bit cheaper. But £20 is not that bad, is it?
Exactly. No. Mr. Ryan, how do you feel about that? Do you think the carts would increase again?
If they did increase, I don't think anyone could complain if they went up to. And I'm not, but if Evercade are watching this, I'm not the voice of everyone in the Evercade community. So please do not raise the prices because I say that I think it would be okay. But $19.99 at the moment is still pretty good value for money. Every business is struggling at the moment. You go down the pub, the price of a pint's probably gone up by 50p from a year ago. So yeah, if it went up to $19.99, I'm not going to stop buying them. But I would be disappointed if they were charging $19.99 and we had Intellivision free, for example. I think the quality would need to be there to back up a price rise. However, Evercade are going to probably have to pay more to get licenses now because these license companies are not going to have as much money as what they had 2-3 years ago. So if they did rise it to $19.99, I personally wouldn't have an issue with it, but I know a lot of people are struggling at the moment. So it works both ways.
Excellent. And Mr. Derek, how do you feel? Do you think it's a possibility they could increase? And if so, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I thought the $14.99 price point was bang on it. And a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon and they loved that formula. The $17.99, a few people had a moan, but let's be honest, how many video games can you buy for $17.99 these days on, say, Nintendo Switch? Not many, I wouldn't have thought.
No.
So $19.99, if they are going to rise it, I wouldn't do it yet. I'd let the cost of living crisis play out a bit, and I'd perhaps look to lift it, perhaps early next year, something like that. But I wouldn't dive straight in. I know we're all hungry for the big names. You want Sega, you want Konami, and we will have to pay for them. We understand that. They don't come cheap.
Yeah.
So in order to bring those type of games to the Evercade, you probably will have to pass that off onto us. And also at the moment in China, I mean, they're struggling still with the COVID. There's still a lot of places being locked down over there. So that's going to be feeding into costs and things like that. So it's probably inevitable. We will see it at some point, unfortunately.
Yeah, but no, it's a good point you make there, Derek. It's certainly with places like China, which is where unfortunately, is it unfortunate? I don't know. I guess in this situation, yes, it is. I guess it is unfortunate. Yes, you make a very good point. They are in they're still really heavily suffering from the COVID crisis. I know the COVID crisis hasn't gone away, it's still there, but certainly in the UK and America and other places in Europe, it feels like life is kind of back to normal now. Most of us have been vaccinated, and life kind of has started to carry on. But yeah, if somewhere like that is having to really sort of shut down and clamp down on things, that is going to have an impact on the rest of the world, because everything's made in China, and it's strange. And pretty much like everyone has said, I still think, I'm looking at some of the cartridges now. Would I pay 19.99 for Atari One? I mean, there's a lot of games on there, but it's not a cartridge I go to very often. But would I pay 19.99 for Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood? Yes, I absolutely would. I'd do it for Data East, Interplay, Namco, Pico, Mega Cats. There's so many cartridges there that I'm looking at and just thinking, yeah, I'd pay 20 quid for that, because like Ollie was saying there about the quality of the games, they do have a pretty solid track record for bringing out some pretty good games. I know there are some of the collections that have got a few duffs on there, if you want to call them that, but by and large, most of the collections are pretty solid. And there's only one or two that I might not be sort of overly happy about paying 20 quid for, but generally I think it's probably worth that. And again, that point you make there, Derek, about having the bigger names, the bigger hitters, I do think people would pay for it. There's certainly, I've said so many different cartridges and so many different things that I would love to see on Evercade. Even if it's just one game on a cartridge, I would pay for some of those games, because I'm a physical media person. I love the collection. I love having the tangible product in my hand. So yeah, I think I'm kind of here to stay on it, regardless of if they were to put the price up. But yeah, as you both say, Derek and Ryan, maybe don't do it just yet. Let's not raise those prices just yet. Let's get comfortable. Let's sort of settle in and see where we're at. And fingers crossed, they won't need to, and that $17.99 can just feel like a good price point for everything.
Well, one way they could save money is stop putting those posters in the cartridge. In the, like, Tower Plan Arcade has got a poster in it, and I can't shut the case of the cartridge because it's just too bulky. So I've had to take that out. The little, I know they're nice and people do like little card inserts and things, but does that really add to the experience? I just like the color manual and the cartridge and the case. The stuff inside just gets shoved back in the, well, if I can get it back in there, get shoved back in the cartridge case and never gets looked at again. So it'd be nice for Evercade to maybe put a stick it on your wall.
Get it up there, son. Right behind you there, next to your new shelf unit, mate. Get it up there.
Get it in there.
And when Daub's, if I'll get him to stay in a spare room and he can just look up at it all night at the Evercade.
He'll be there playing it. We all know about.
Oh yeah,
he'll be there playing it.
We all know Daub's.
I've totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, so with the stuff inside, I don't think it's needed, and Evercade should put out a poll. Would people rather the cartridges be slightly cheaper or stay as they are, but we're not going to include any of these extra inserts in the future? I don't know, just to see what people's maybe I'll put a poll in the Evercade Hangout. Do you enjoy the extras that you get in the cartridges?
Yeah, see what you go.
Yep, there was an interesting point. We will go back to the topics and any other questions that people want to have. Please throw them in the comment section. We'll stick a star on them. We'll get to them at the end. Where's it gone? Where's the comment? It was by Obsolete Worlds. Just about the potential for like a price rise, and that was the impulse factor goes away the higher the price gets. You got it. Yeah, the impulse factor goes away the higher the price gets. So at the moment, again, $17.99 is got that. It does have that impulse factor about it. If you're sort of, I guess, just sort of in game and thinking, oh yeah, I've heard about that system, and there's the cartridge, and it's I think that where it's currently at, that's a perfect price point for the moment until they bring out potentially some newer, bigger hitters that people are willing to go, yeah, take 30 quid for that. I'm fine paying 30 quid for that particular one. we'll just have to see. Excellent. We've got some good discussion going in there for that one. So that was a great question. Thank you, Jarvis. Okay, so next topic is has been put there just because of a recent post that we saw on the Evercade official Facebook. It was the official Facebook page, wasn't it, Ryan?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, I don't want to get that wrong. Don't want to...
Yeah, no, to be honest, I haven't really looked into it too much today, but I know it's a topic, so I've had a brief look at some screenshots, but I believe it was on the official Evercade page.
Yeah.
Facebook page.
So that was Evercade's recent social media post, and that was, it's no secret they like that page to be used to have people talk about the product, discuss things sort of in a fairly positive manner. People aren't necessarily sort of shut down for having a different opinion, but they have said on a couple of occasions that they would very much like that page to not be flooded with photos of issues and this kind of thing, because there's a process that people can go through to get these issues addressed. And they even say in the post that it's absolutely fine for people to even want to kind of just troubleshoot with people and ask questions. However, can we sort of maybe not do this quite so much on this particular page? So like the absolute charlatans that we are, we figured this would be a great place to plug the Evercade Hangout, which is not affiliated with Evercade whatsoever. It is a completely sort of fan put together page. And if people want to do things like troubleshoot, run things past people, ask questions, have I got a problem? I've got an issue. Has anyone managed to fix this issue? This kind of thing. People would be more than welcome to head on over to the Hangout, the Evercade Hangout Facebook group, post it in there. Obviously, like every good Facebook page, it does have its own set of rules, which we would like people to go through, make sure they adhere to those rules. Most of the rules generally sum up, just don't be an absolute knobhead. And generally, most things will go. We appreciate that not everyone is going to think the same. People are going to have a different opinion. And that's absolutely fine. You can disagree with people as long as you do it respectfully. The moment someone stops being respectful or starts getting a little bit, catty or just a little bit off, that's when people will step in. But ultimately, yes, so that the Evercade official Facebook page can be as it is intended. If people do want to come and ask questions, there's lots of people in the Hangout that would probably be more than willing to discuss any of these problems with you, potentially offer you some different lifelines for things that they've done. And then, of course, you've always got the standard place to go, which is through the Evercade support channels. So, yeah, I didn't know if anybody else had anything else they wanted to add to that. I just realized I talked for a really long time then.
I think Derek could talk about the Twitter community, because I know that you're very prominent on Twitter. You've amassed a huge following. You may even be bigger than the official Evercade Twitter.
Not quite, unfortunately, but hey, who knows? I might catch them. Give me 12 months. You never know.
Yeah. So what's the vibe? Because I don't use Twitter, so I used to many years ago, but I just refer to it as a cesspit now, where you just end up arguing with people about football and politics and all sorts. So you I know you focus 100% on Evercade. So how do you find that community on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. And again, I welcome people to bring their questions. If they want to ask them, they're more than welcome. Remember, I might not know the answer. That's all you've got to be prepared for. If you're asking me about a certain problem and I've not experienced it, then obviously I might not be able to help you. But obviously, as you did say, you've got the support email anyway, which you can go directly through. But obviously, if it's something I've heard about on there or something, I can do something about, then obviously, I'll put my weight behind it for people. But yeah, no problem at all. If people want to come there and ask whatever, then obviously, I'll do my best to help them.
Yeah, Twitter's an odd one for me. It's not something I've ever really sort of ever really dabbled in. I know Dorbs does our Twitter page, but yeah, your following on there just seems to have just grown, and it continues to grow. I mean, I remember when we first came across your Twitter page, I always remember thinking, Christ, that's a lot of followers. But it's getting bigger. It's not it's not sort of plateaued. It's getting bigger. People really do.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
lots of different types of gamers follow me. So yeah, it's not just Evercade people that like the Commodore 64, and hopefully, by seeing the Commodore 64 collections, that's perhaps inspired them to grab an Evercade and give that a go and things like that. So you never know. So yeah, it's just a case of just keep building and seeing what we can do. The more we can get our word out there, the more people we can get on board, and hopefully, in the long run, we can score some more licenses. So, it'll be great.
Excellent. Like it. With any other social bits that people wanted to bring out there?
I would just say. Oh, sorry, Blunners.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, I understand why they're doing it, because obviously they don't want their page clubbed up with stuff on things that they can't actually answer themselves. So they're trying to push you in that direction, just going, look, get hold of support. That's what support's there for. But then you see it from the other side, where people are like, well, somebody on here might have the same issue as me, might instantly be able to answer it for me. So that's so you can see both sides, and I can understand both sides. But that's why obviously the hangout we've got is quite good, because we can do what you want in there, really, and you're not going to have anything deleted.
Within reason.
Within reason,
yes,
sorry.
Always
man
within
babies.
reason.
No man babies.
Yeah, we did have to pull that up last time. I think someone said something on there, and we're like, yeah, maybe don't use that language. That sounds like you're trying to poke somebody to get a response there. If you disagree, that's fine, but let's not poke a bear.
No, air your grievances with other people within the Evercade community by all means, but don't go with the name calling and things, because that just belittles the point that you're trying to make.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. You were going to say something then, Ryan, as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Evercade can run their social media channels however they want. It's down to them, isn't it? A lot of companies do that. Evercade have it, so every comment that's made on their Facebook group, they have to approve it, and it usually takes quite. I know I've tried to post things before, and it's took about 4 days for it to be approved. And there isn't anything even controversial. It's like, I've received Indie Heroes 2 from Amazon. Brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it. And that takes 4 days. So I just don't even bother anymore. I look on there every now and again to see if there's any news or anything going on. But I just choose to use the Evercade Hangout. And I just follow the Evercade Instagram page and just see what's going on there.
Yeah. I mean, I think their Discord is a bit more active, but I think their Facebook group and their Twitter accounts and probably their Instagram account, I think the people that look after that only go in sporadically. They're not there permanently. It's not like hiring an actual internet guy to deal with all your stuff. So, you don't actually have somebody there permanently. So, when they approve it, it's perhaps once a day or something like that, or whenever they go into it. So, that doesn't help. Obviously, if you, as you say, you want to post something, you want it up now, not 3 weeks after the cartridges come out. So,
But no, that's a good point. The Discord again is something that I'm learning to be better at using. I know Ryan jumps in the Evercade Discord a little bit just to sort of see what's going on. But that's another really great place if people would like to see a lot of information that does get sort of talked about quite a lot. Like Derek has said, the Discord is very active. So yeah, if you're into Discord and know how to use it better than I do, then yes, jump on it, get it going. There's lots of various social media that people can sort of jump on for Evercade. There's so much stuff out there.
And excellent. Also on their evercade.co.uk, there's on the news section, there's blogs on there which are quite interesting, and they don't really promote them very often, but they recently had top 5 sports games on the Evercade, top 5 Tate mode games on the Evercade, and things like that. So it's always worth having a look on their official website, because there's a lot of information on there that you'll miss otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. They explain a bit more about sort of some of the technical games and how to get into them a bit more. So yeah, that can be quite helpful.
Excellent. Right. So let us move on to our last couple of questions before we start looking to wrap this up, because we are fast approaching that hour mark that we said we were going to try our very best to aim for and not go too far over. So next couple of questions. Next one, we'll go with Jarvis's next question as well, because that last one gave us a lot of mileage. So Mr. Jarvis, when is the next game of the month? And is it for Indie Heroes 3? So for people that may be sort of newcomers to Evercade, the VS had a game of the month every day for a month. Was it every day for a month?
Once a month it was, yeah. Usually on the last Friday of the month or something.
And this was an update that you could do to your VS. You would receive a game that would last a month on there. And those games eventually came to the cartridge Indie Heroes 2. So it was sort of almost like a little sneak preview to kind of see what these games were like. So what do people think? Do people think they'll replicate that this year? And do they think it will be for a potential Indie Heroes 3? So just to throw Blunners off, I'm going to go the other way this time. I'm going to go down to Mr. Derek. So what do you think? Was this something you'd like to see come back?
It is going to come back, absolutely. In fact, you're going to see it, in April. However,
you heard it here first.
Entertainment will announce the title in March, and it's absolutely massive.
Ah, Derek, you tease.
Think about the Nintendo Switch, it's on there. You think about the Steam, it's on there, and it's coming to Evercade.
Wow.
Oh my God! Could there have been a better sales pitch for that? Good grief! Oh, Derek, I really wish you could tell us what it is.
That's a short later.
Will sell me the cartridge. Bring it on.
It's a great idea, though, isn't it?
Oh, such a good idea. Such a good idea. Derek, I really wish.
And then
I really wish you could tell us.
I'm not even sure. I'll update my verses and my EXP from this title. It's that good.
Man.
But yeah, it's available on EXP and on Evercade Versus.
Wow. Okay. That is some big talk. Jarvis, we're getting a lot of mileage out of your questions today, dude. That's big.
Get some comments.
Go on, Blunners.
What do we reckon?
Oh yes, people.
So I'm just saying, get people to comment in the chat. What do they think?
Yeah. So
it will be interesting. I'll be glad to update my VS and not have gelatinous humanity lost on there anymore, because that game.
I've forgotten that was on there. Yeah.
It's just, I couldn't develop a game, but Quest Arrest is so good by John Rue, so good, and then that whatever gelatinous is just very different, and I didn't really find it enjoyable. So it'll be nice for that to be updated. Hopefully we'll get another John Rue game in the future, because Quest Arrest is, as I say on Indie Heroes 1, is very, very good.
Okay, that's an interesting question. Is that something you can say or not, Derek? Obviously, I don't want to get you in trouble because they trust you very much.
No, you'll have to wait till March, but we're on the way.
We're almost at March. It's only 2 days away. So.
I know. Yeah, you should have done the show a couple of days later.
Amazing. Well, I'm very, very much looking forward to that announcement. That's for sure. That's really got me quite hyped for it, because I thought that last year was just such a great feature, a really great way to get people to make sure that you're updating your VS for starters, and make sure you're using all the latest firmware and whatnot, but also a really, really great way to kind of just give some life to, again, some of these indie games, and then sort of tell you, right, this is coming out on a cartridge as well. So these are just your monthly teasers, just so you can get a real flavor for it. Really great way to support other indie developers. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So the gap as well while you're waiting for cartridges.
Yeah, exactly.
You've had that new game of the month, and obviously you've got that to go on with while you're waiting. So yeah, I quite like that idea.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's again a really good point there. If you're waiting, or you can't afford a cartridge that month, at least you're going to have a new game to play every month. It's sort of like Xbox Game Pass, except it's free and you only get it for a month, and it's one game, not the entire Xbox library. So nothing like Game Pass. But there we go.
Anyway, in a cost of living crisis, getting anything for free,
you
can't complain, can you?
Yeah. Yeah, and even in a non-cost of living crisis, you shouldn't really complain at free stuff. So it's
but people will. People will, as I just did about Gelatinous Humanity Lost.
Yeah.
I should appreciate that it was a free game that I was able to play. But now I've paid for that game because on Indie Heroes 2, so I feel like I can give my opinions.
No worries. So the last question before we look to close everything off here is from Al Sternhammer, and that is, what genre would people like to see more of on Evercade or come to the Evercade? So Mr. Al has gone with wanting to see some first-person shooters, which is a possibility. We've seen that the Evercade can handle PS1 type stuff, so it is possible that we could get some sort of first-person shooter. So that's an interesting one. Mr. Blunners, what do you think? What sort of what genre or style of game would you like to see come to the Evercade more?
I'm not sure. My knowledge on the library isn't as great, but I'd say more puzzle games, like something like what was it? Like Chi Chi Rocket kind of game. Remember that?
Yeah,
I'd see stuff like that on there.
that would be cool.
Something random that.
Yeah. No, puzzle games, that's not a terrible shout, though, because certainly we've seen things like Tapeworm and Flea. They work really well as sort of like a good sort of platformy puzzler type thing. So, yeah, that could work really well. Ooh, I like it. Mr. Ryan, are there any particular genres you'd like to see come to Evercade?
On Mega Cat Studio 2, there are quite a few puzzle games on their Blunners, so that might satisfy you with those types of game. So that's a cartridge that's got a few puzzle games on there. You could get like the Sun Crossword DS if you're really into puzzle games. They could try and put that on there. I saw that in CX the other day. I would really like to see a decent wrestling game on the Evercade. I think that's a big gap. We haven't got any decent wrestling games. I know it's difficult because the best ones are all licensed by WWE. But there must be some out there that aren't licensed that could go on there. I would also like to see another Football Manager game. If we're getting Amiga collection, I would like to see Premier Manager, the Amiga version, rather than the Mega. Even though the one I had when I was growing up was Premier Manager on the Mega Drive, but I know that the Amiga versions are much more in depth, so I wouldn't mind. See, I think they're and first-person shooters, like Al has mentioned. That's definitely, we haven't got any on Evercade, so that's any that I can think of, unless Derek's going to now tell me that there is a first-person shooter that I've totally forgotten about. But yeah, that's definitely a gap. But for me, wrestling games needs to be on there. I used to want Retromania when that was released, but I paid for that on my Xbox, and it's not actually very good. So I don't think Evercade should go down that route. I think they should look to try and get an older wrestling game, like on the PlayStation 1 or Mega Drive, and there must be something out there. But I don't know myself what one I would choose.
Okay, interesting. Mr. Derek, I think you must have played every game on the Evercade now. So are there any genres that you think that there are sort of missing, or something that you personally, just from a particular favorite genre of game that you'd like to see come to Evercade?
I think it wouldn't hurt to get a few more one-on-one fighting games. We've got a few like Clay Fighters, and obviously we've got Hyper Fighting now if you own an EXP. But if you don't, then obviously you haven't got access to that one, and that's pretty much the king of the jungle. Other than that, yeah, you've got Warlord and a few others. But yeah, we could definitely do with a few more defining fighter ones. It's not that difficult. If you look at Pico Interactive, they recently released one-on-one fighting collection, the Breakers collection. Yeah, any of you seen that?
No,
very similar to like Fatal Fury. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, great graphics, great gameplay. Would easily run on the Evercade. I think that's a collection they should go after. I know it's heavily in fighting games, but if you were going to buy it on the Nintendo Switch or on Steam, then you'd pretty much get a mirror collection. So yeah, I think that would satisfy fans quite happily. So yeah, definitely some more one-on-one fighters. Let's see a few of those. I think they're very popular and people enjoy that sort of short format. So yeah, that could be an angle they could go after of something we haven't currently got too much of.
Yeah.
What about a two-player racing game like Street Racer? I know Pico own the license to that, so that would fill the Mario Kart void that people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was a big fan of Street Racer. I had it on the Super Nintendo originally, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean that would be an ideal one.
Yeah.
Pico Interactive recently have snagged an absolutely massive license, but nobody will find out about that until their anniversary this year when they will make that announcement. So yeah, look out for that.
Excellent. For me, it always just comes down to the one genre that I can never get enough of. I would love to see more horror titles. It's there's not like an absolute plethora of really good horror games from sort of like the 8-bit, 16-bit era, but there is just some absolute crackers out there. Things like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, things like Clock Tower. I think Clock Tower would be really interesting to see whether or not they could get that on a cartridge and working, because to get like a copy of Clock Tower is just so unobtainable. So that kind of thing would be cool. But the big one for me, and I don't know how they could go about doing this, would be a game called Sweet Home, which only came out in Japan, and it was on NES, and it is what inspired Resident Evil. But it's like a top-down sort of Zelda-y type game, and you just sort of have to navigate these sort of atrocities that are happening. And you can get it on a pirated cartridge in English and that kind of thing. But that's the sort of thing for me that Evercade would be superb for. So I would love to see Sweet Home come to Evercade. So a few more horror titles for me. Splatterhouse again was another reason why I really wanted that handheld, and wouldn't get rid of the handheld because I can't play Splatterhouse on the VS. But yeah, I'd like to see a few more. And Dedius, I can't remember how to pronounce it properly now. On Indie Heroes, that's very much like a horror title as well, and that was fantastic. So yeah, I'd like to see more horror for me. And there was one other question from Mr. Dorbs as well, and that was, do you have one of the new stands for your EXP that I believe I can't remember his surname.
It's L in the chat.
Oh, Jelly Bear
Creations.
Yeah,
Jelly Bear Creations.
Oh, yeah, fantastic! There he is.
Know of them. No, yeah, I don't currently have a stand. No, well, not one of those.
Got to be done. You've got to get on there with them stands. They're very, very cool. Very cool stands. Right, gentlemen, we have hit 1 hour and 3. We said we were going to try our best to keep it to an hour. So I'm certainly not going to be firing any more questions at you. Just thank you very much, everyone in the chat, for tuning in for the first episode of Total Evercade. It's been a lot of fun to dedicate a whole episode just to talking about all things Evercade, all the good stuff, the fun stuff that's coming out, a few little what ifs, which has been great fun. And thank you, Ryan, for sort of getting this together and putting all the hard work in as you have. I've kind of swooped in and stolen the glory by talking over everybody. But no, thank you for all your hard work that you've put into getting this one off the ground. And Derek, thank you so much for joining us. We couldn't have thought of a better person to have had on the first episode. It had to be yourself. So we're very, very grateful that you were able to join us.
There is links to Derek's Twitter handle is in the description of this video.
Absolutely. And I think there's a link there. Is there a link there for the Hangout as well?
There is, yes.
There is. So yes, people, head on over to the Evercade Hangout, a Facebook group for you to chat about all things Evercade. You've got your admin and moderation team is Mr. Ryan, Mr. Dorber, Rob Essex Retro, and our good friend Mr. Rob Taylor as well. So they're your admin and moderator team. So yeah, come on over. It's a really active, fun group. And yeah, so our next show will be in 2 weeks' time. We'll see if we can get another guest on for this show. We'll see if in those 2 weeks they've made that announcement as to what is going to be that game, because Derek, that's going to be playing on my mind now. It's there. It's taken up residency. It's in my brain, living rent free. I need to know what that is, but I'm gonna keep that tease on. I'm not going to pester you because I know you're. I'm going
to post in the Hangout after this. What is the game that's going to be on Indie Heroes free, which
Yeah.
is going to blow our mind. So we'll get thoughts from people.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
There we go. Everybody, thank you ever so much again for tuning in live. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.